I have to start by saying I've been a fan of your work basically my entire life, so it is a pleasure to finally talk with you today, sir.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
I want to ask you, what are some of your favorite movies? What are the movies that if you were trapped on a desert island, you'd have to have?
Well, that's what I liked about this one. When I first heard the title, I said, I got to see this movie. Because it reminded me of movies I used to see when I was a kid, you know, things like Blackula or Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde and all, you know, weird like Japanese science fiction movies. And so I loved any kind of monster movie, and like I said, that's what when I just heard the title, that's all I needed to hear, and said I want to see this movie.
Well, you were producing this, and I'm curious, how involved are you during the actual making of the film, or are you sort of there for the pre-production and maybe the post-production, and Timur's making his movie, or could you sort of talk about...
Well, I mean, to begin with, because I've worked with Jim and Timur before as producers, and we talked about just producing this film, but as time went on, and I heard Timur really talking about it, I just finally said, you got to do it, man, because it's like, he was so passionate about it. I loved his ideas about it, and I finally said, I want to see your version of the movie. And so, for me, as a director mainly, I know what I like and to take. So for me, it was just helping to support the project and get it made, and you know, because each project is very difficult to get made, and so like I said, I was just there to help support and Timur's vision of it.
I always like asking directors their thoughts on the test screening process, the friends and family screening process. Are you a fan of the test screening process, or are you sort of like...
Not at all. I really don't. It's hard for me to watch my movies, but the ones that I direct, and so when I go to those things, I have an out-of-body experience. I mean, it can be going well, and I want to like kill myself. I feel like it's not going well. I can't tell anything from them. So I'm not a big fan, especially the cards. You know, the written cards. I'm not a fan. It can help. You know, showing an audience can help you sort of see where you're at, but don't like it.
I understand. I'm curious. You've directed a lot of awesome movies, and DVD, Blu-ray has become a huge part of the industry. I'm curious if there's a lot of deleted scenes from your previous films that are, say, in a vault somewhere, or are all those kind of materials already out there?
For the most part, they're out there. I mean, I don't have a huge ratio when I shoot something. I don't usually have a lot of extra. I mean, there are some scenes, and sometimes in a film like Ed Wood, I put some deleted scenes in the end, and I do that on occasion. But oftentimes, there's not a lot of extra scenes to be had. I try to shoot it and not have leaving too much on the cutting room floor. It's too painful. You know, it's too painful to shoot something and then immediately have to cut it out.
Oh, I'm curious specifically, like if there's old Beetlejuice scenes or Pee-wee's Big Adventure scenes that have never seen the light of day.
Yeah, there not so much Beetlejuice. Probably some in Pee-wee and some in. Not so much in like Batman or Batman Returns. There's some in Ed Wood that I stuck on the DVD, but Pee-wee, yeah, there might be some, but those were the days that film might have been destroyed by now. I don't know.
My last question for you. A lot of people have been talking about, and Seth has talked about, the whole Beetlejuice sequel. Yeah. I'm curious, what's the status of that in your mind? And also, what's your criteria for picking future projects?
Well, I left Seth to just say, because, you know, I try to deal with that in the past, and I worked on a couple of Beetlejuice ideas, and I just sort of left it alone. And so I enjoy working with Seth. I just said, why don't you do something, and then I'll look at it freshly, because I didn't want to bring anything right to the table. I kind of wanted to see, so I'm kind of waiting to see what he comes up with. But, you know, I love the character, and you know, I love working with Michael Keaton, and it was such a great part for him. So, you know, let's just see what Seth comes up with.
And criteria for future projects?
You know, you never know. It just has to sort of hit you emotionally. I mean, that's like I said with this. Heard the title, it hit me. You know, you never quite know what's going to happen. You never know how you're going to feel from one year to the next. So I try to keep it open, and you know, there's still some personal things that I want to do and you know, like to do, which you know. But sometimes it takes time, like Frankenweed. It's taken me like 10 years to kind of want to get made again.
Cool. I have to wrap with you, but thank you so much, and it's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Thanks, man. Nice
Have
to
a
talk
fantastic
to you.
day.